Today's a great day as it's episode number 2 of our chat with top Hope Beauty members. And so today's great as someone who I have utmost respect for, Dr. Salomon out of Miami, Florida. Dr. Salomon, how are you doing today?
Great. Thank you for having me, Seth. Everything is well. Miami is a beautiful place.
And you look comfortable, day off on a Saturday, right, Dr. Salomon?
Yes, day off. Day off Saturday and Sundays.
Amazing. So, Dr. Salomon, I just kind of want to get right into it. Tell us a little about yourself. You know, everyone knows about you being the celebrity doctor and so forth, but tell us where you grew up. Where were you born and grew up?
I was born and grew up in Haiti, in Port-au-Prince. And I had an amazing childhood there. You know, it's a very complicated place, a very challenging place, but also a place where you can learn a lot and you can learn to overcome adversity very early on in life. So I had an amazing childhood there. And then from there, I left when I was 17 after high school. I went to a very, very good high school in Haiti. It was a Jesuit school, a very strict school, really prepared me for the academic world. And so I went to Boston University at the age of 17 to attend college. I was fortunate enough to get into an accelerated medical program where they combine college and medical school. So it was a great program, and I studied there from the years of 1984 to 91. And you
So
had
let me
to
interrupt
be.
you. Let me
Uh-huh.
interrupt you real quickly. When you were high school, because obviously you said you went to BU for the accelerated medical program, did you always know you wanted to get in the medical field? Is that something you always knew you wanted to get into?
You know, I love medicine and I love the world of beauty. And so I always wanted to try to combine both. So, you know, I went into medicine with the vision to become a plastic surgeon where I could combine the beauty part with the medical part.
So that's amazing. So from college, you always wanted to get into the field you're in right now.
Well, from high school, really, and from college for sure, I was already, you know, I had a very clear vision of where I wanted to go. Yes.
So you went to Boston University, and then you went to grad school at Boston University,
I
correct?
went to medical school there as well. Yes. It was a combined program. So it was already a fast track into medical school by the time I was in college.
So I went to BU. I mean, that must have been a little intimidating for coming from Haiti to BU, you know, just being in the campus. But it also must have been an amazing time.
Exciting for sure. Going from an all boy Jesuit school to Boston University, which is so emancipated as a international hub, was amazing. You know, it was a place where you could learn from so many different angles, so many different cultures. So it was very, very an amazing time.
So then you graduated medical school in Boston, and then you did your medical residency in Texas, correct?
Well, I did a few of those. I did a general surgery first. Back then, you had to become a general surgeon before you became a plastic surgeon. So I did my general surgery at University of Connecticut, so
Okay.
still in New England. And then from there, I went to Brown University to do my plastic surgery. And then after that, I went to Texas to specialize in craniofacial surgery, which is surgeries of the head and neck as it relates to plastic surgery. So I did 3 residencies.
Okay. And then after Texas, what did you do after that?
And then I came to Miami and started my practice. I came to
Let's talk
Miami, it
about
was
that.
1999.
What made you go to Miami?
You know, I at that time, plastic surgery is not what it is today for sure. You know, it was a very different field. Um, I think it was a field in its growth. You know, now it's really become. So I was considering California and New York and Miami to have to establish my practice. I wanted a big city for sure. And Miami was very appealing to me because I grew up in Haiti first. It's very close. The weather is very similar. The culture is very similar. The influences are very similar. And I always had also the vision that Miami would be an amazing city in the future. I thought it would become so much more of a city than it was back then in 1999. So after considering all the options, I opted for Miami.
And so you just went to Miami. Did you know anybody in Miami or have family?
Um, yes, I had family here. My sister lived there at the time, my brother as well, and my parents were very often here because they were in Haiti at the time. My dad was alive, so yeah, I had family here. I had roots, and I felt at home in Miami.
And then you immediately said you opened up your practice.
I joined a small practice, the first year, and right after that, I opened my practice. Yes.
Well, that must have been that to me is what I like to talk about, is because obviously you studied how to become an expert in your field of plastic surgery, but then you started your practice. The reason why I asked, did you know anybody? I mean, starting, it's not like you said, oh, I'm taking over my family's practice, or, I have a huge network of people that could be clients. So when you started, did you even have clients? How did you tell us, go back to when you first started, and where was your location? Where did you pick for your first office?
Very close to my current one, still in the South Miami Coral Gables area, so at the heart of Miami. So, when you start your practice, plastic surgery, people have to develop the trust for you. The community has to develop not only the trust for you, but has to like you as a human. Because if you're a philanthropist and you have a good heart, and in addition you're an amazing doctor, an amazing surgeon, and you have great hands, then you really can become a success. So when you start, even if you have a lot of family, even if you have networks and what have you, that doesn't create your success, I don't believe. So when I started, I did little things. I went to the emergency room and took care of lacerations, and I treated everyone incredibly, so that every laceration then became the mother or the father come to like you. Then if they need plastic surgery in the future, then maybe they come to you. So that's how it starts. Back then, that's how it started. Now they have other venues to start a practice, but back then that was really the only way. And in addition to this, I did some reconstructions of the breast after cancer. And again, those families, they get to know you, you get to treat them. And if they need more cosmetic work, then they come to you in the future. So that's how I started. I had a small practice, a very little practice. And then that was in the years of from 99 to 2003 or so, I was doing a lot of this. And then in 2003, the laser world became. So there were laser hair removal and some other lasers were really becoming popular. Some of these non-invasive treatments, Botox was already on the market, but becoming more and more popular, Restylane. So I had the vision back then to develop a medical spa, and a very large medical spa, in addition to my regular plastic surgery practice. And I did. And I took a big risk because it was, from a new surgeon to having a very large practice to manage. It was a big risk, but I did it. I had conviction that I could do it, and I did it. I had a lot of internal strength and mental strength to really take the challenge on.
But I
So
like
I
that.
did.
Because sometimes people don't realize, as they see you so successful today, you really bet on yourself. And, in life, that is what every entrepreneur success story is, that they came to a time and place where they had to make a decision left or right. And through your vision, you put your money where your mouth is. You took a risk. You could have lost everything. As you said, it must have been very scary.
For sure, could have lost everything and even your reputation, and that's you cannot recover from. But I was very fortunate. People liked me in the community, and they supported my practice. They supported the medical spa, the laser treatments, and what have you. And my regular plastic surgery practice really blossomed at the same time. Um, I think the business part is very important. The risk has to be calculated. You have to have a clear vision of the numbers where they need to be to do it. Need to have a vision of the entire process. Entire process. You need to have the vision of the personnel, of the look, of the experience. It becomes a hospitality industry in addition to a plastic surgery industry when you have a medical spa component. The entire hospitality, the entire process needs to be there, from the design of your letterheads to your logo, to the way your practice look, to the way your practice smells, to the way you look, to the way all of this needs to be very clearly thought out when you go in a direction like this. And we did have amazing managers, that supported me. I had amazing people in the world of branding that helped me, brand architects, so, I had a lot of good help. And, I did every surgery, and every patient we treated with a lot of love, a lot of respect, a lot of care, a lot of detail. And the practice grows, and the practice grows.
So when you,
And
not to interrupt you, when you opened up this spa, how long did it take to start getting customers to come in the door? Did it happen? Was it just so needed that it happened pretty quickly?
we were one of the first one, if not the first one in the market. So, and the demand was there. So right away, we got very busy.
And what was it like? I mean, were you like getting busy where you had to keep expanding? So was it exciting to you as an entrepreneur to say, wow, I have a practice now, I've launched a spa, and, being at the right place at the right time, and, obviously seeing the revenues grow, the business grow, must have been a very exciting time as an entrepreneur.
For sure, for sure. I visualized the process to the ultimate of success. So I overbuilt in terms of space. I had the right people to help me with the management and the service. So, we grew into a space that we visualized years before. So I didn't have to do additional steps on the physical space, at least in terms of growth.
And you didn't have really a reference, because it's not like there was like 10 around in Miami and you're like, oh, I know how to make it better. You were saying it was one of the first ones to be in Miami.
Yes, one of the first ones, for sure.
And so Botox became, and then was Botox a huge moneymaker? Because it,
Botox was already there, but it wasn't as popular as it is today.
okay.
And, that was part of it. But in addition to Botox, the lasers really became the laser hair removal, the treatments for the skin, the Fraxel, those became at that time the CO2 lasers. And then the treatments for cellulite, and then later on became the treatment for non-surgical fat removal. All of these treatments started becoming, and that became the medical spa industry as it is today.
Interesting. And so, and then tell us, then you did the spa, and then you had your practice. Tell us then what time frame was that? You said it was around the 2000s.
I built I started with a small med spa, 2004. The big one, the large one, I started in 2007,
Oh, wow.
the construction.
And so what was the size on the first one to the 2007?
The first one was about 2,000 square feet, and the one today is about close to 8,000 square feet.
I mean, that's amazing, but
That's a big jump.
and when you did the 2000, you said you kind of did it where you were thinking it would be much bigger also.
The one in 2007, I built to the level for the capacity of today.
Oh, amazing. And so now we're in 2021. What makes you, for this long of a time, continue to be the best at what you do? I mean, obviously it's through hard work. Tell us what makes you continue to be at the top of your field.
I think you have to do it with a lot of love and passion, and people see that when you're very passionate about something, people see it and they connect with you. So that's in big part is this. I think personality. I'm very open. I care for people. I love people. I love the community. I donate to the community. I donate to charities. I donate to different causes. People need to love you as an individual, and then your skills. I think I have amazing skills, as a surgeon, my hands, that helps a lot, when you have amazing skills and you're on top of things and you can deliver. I'm an artist. I see the world with a lot of details. I don't give up until it's perfect, that perfection. I think that's very important. That's one part that's very important. The second part as a plastic surgeon that's very important is running the business. Running the business, the vision, the decisions, picking the right lasers, for example, the best one in the market always. Be the first one to get the best one, not get the ones that are not going to be successful. A lot of decisions every day, and making the right decision is important to stay relevant, in front of the curve, ahead of the curve. So that's the second part. And the third part, I think that's important to be successful and remain successful as a plastic surgeon, is related to the first in terms of the love and passion, but it's the love and passion for people. You need to be a great psychologist. You need to care for people. A lot of people come with deep insecurities, deep issues. And if you don't connect with them and really try to help them through that process, I don't think you're going to be as successful a plastic surgeon. So you need to be a great psychologist in addition.
I mean, that's a good point, because I assume people are coming to you, as you said, with insecurities where you're every surgery, every client that you have is very important to them because it's their body, their face or something. So it must be a tremendous amount of pressure for you because, you're like, you have to perform at your best at all times. You can never have an off day. And how do you mentally prepare yourself to be like that every day for over 20 years straight? I mean, in your business, like you said, it's reputation and your community leadership. And so you really don't have the luxury of ever having any off days in your business.
No, for sure not. My girlfriend always says, Jhonny, you live your life like in military. And that's exactly what I do. I wake up early, I work out, I get my mind strong, I get my body strong. And you perform these 10, 12-hour days to perfection. And then you need to live a healthy a high lifestyle. When I get home, I eat vegan, I get my sleep, I go to bed earlier, go get my sleep, exercise. So mentally, you need to be very strong. Physically, you need to be strong, and then you can give your best every day.
And so when you grew up and through school and through your beginning years of the practice, did you have some mentors that you looked up to, or who are some people that you looked up to get to where you're at today?
So many great mentors, and I learned different angles from very different ones, in terms of their personality, what I wanted to emulate. There are doctors in my plastic surgery world at Brown, that were amazing to me, really cared for me. There is a gentleman by the name of Patrick Sullivan, and he's still practicing, amazing man and visionary and mentor. Richard Zinowitz, Armand Versace passed, but he was the director of the program back then, and an amazing man, really, guided me through life, not even as a plastic surgeon, but as a human. And then at UT Southwestern, when I did my current official fellowship there, the mentors there, and it's still today the best residency in the world. We had surgeons and residents from all over the world come to visit at all times. I mean, that's how popular of a residency program it was. And I was around the legends of plastic surgery, the legends. So they were all Steve Bird, he retired. Rod Rowick is still practicing. You know, they were legends, you know. So you practice around legends and you see what in their personality, what in their practices, what in the way they handle patient, handle life, handle details. What do you want for you? And then you put it all together and then you become yourself. You make yourself out of, from all this.
Looking back at your career, what were some mistakes that you made that made you to be so successful also? Because obviously every mistake is a learning experience.
You know, timing mistakes for sure. Sometimes I make timing mistakes in terms of maybe not taking a chance too early, waiting a little bit too long. I've made some of those mistakes along the way. Um, I think that mainly in terms of timing, those are the lessons. The practice I built so big, from such an early age, it made me work so hard throughout. It's not a mistake, of course, because, I love what I do, but sometimes I wish I had a little bit more time. I wish I had a little bit more time on my personal life to develop more things. I have a lot of other passions, art. I create sculptures. I do photography. I love to travel. I'm an explorer. I love to write. I wish I had a little bit more time for this. So it's a balance of this time. Sometimes I feel like, maybe I shouldn't have built so big and give more time to other things. But at the end of the day, maybe it's not a mistake. I love what I do and I'm really happy where I am.
One of the things I liked about that you talked about too is you always have to be ahead of the game with, in your business with the tools, the lasers, et cetera. Where do you envision the future of plastic surgery going, or what are you thinking going to be the next trends over the next 5 to 10 years?
It's a huge market. The beauty world and plastic surgery is a huge industry. There are so many people working at so many different angles and so many different things. It's hard to know which one will be the trendsetter or the disruptor in the field. I feel that possibly stem cell, that is becoming and becoming will play a major role in the future of plastic surgery. I think stem cell will be a big disruptor in the field of plastic surgery. I'm hopeful that every day there are non-invasive treatment for muscle tightening, for skin tightening that are coming out. I'm hopeful that there's going to be a disruptor there as well. If we get a disruptor in tightening of the skin, that's going to be a major advancement in plastic surgery. So I'm hopeful there will be a technology from there that's amazing.
So let's go a year ago, obviously, because it probably never happened to you in 20 years during COVID when they shut down everything. As an entrepreneur with the huge practice along with the spa, what was the mindset? I mean, it must have been a very scary time for you.
You know, it was and it wasn't, I embraced it. I always see life like this. Whatever happens, I look at the positive. I'm a very positive person. So it was scary, but I know this was not going to take over the world. It was a very sad time, obviously, so much loss, so much suffering. But I know it was not going to take over the world. I know the world was going to conquer it. So I know it was a time factor. And in business way, I know I had the wherewithal to survive the amount of time that it was going to take. So I knew that already. So that was not scary for me. And then, I felt terrible for all the loss and what have you. But as a personal level, what I decided to do is to invest in myself in that time, because I wanted to grow with the time off that I had rather than just be worried and not doing anything. So I did more art, I did more sculptures, I did more reading. The books that I wanted to read for a long time that I didn't get to, I read them. spend the time with my kids. I have young kids. I enjoy that time immensely. And it was a good time for me, honestly, at a personal level. Like, for example, I remember when COVID started, I worked so hard. I didn't even remember ever dreaming because my mind was so tired all the time. With COVID, I started dreaming again. I started sleeping 10 hours. And those stayed with me. I still dream today that I'm back at work and working so hard. The thing that I had lost from my past came back.
Amazing.
And I still dream. My health was better. My thought processes were better. So I looked at it at a personal level as a positive in my life, and felt terrible for the world for all the suffering that has happened in that time.
So let's say there's somebody at Boston University right now going to medical school watching this. What are some pointers or tips that you would give to somebody in your shoes back when you were going to medical school with a dream?
Believe in yourself, even if nobody else believes in you. Believe in yourself. Take your risk, calculated risk at the right time. Have a clear vision of your future and follow that vision. Don't be afraid of the universe. Embrace it. It will support you in your path. And do what you love, for sure.
And that's amazing that, I mean, you've had a dream and you're still doing what you love. So, I mean, you must be very happy.
Very happy.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Do you see yourself retired and a famous artist at Art Basel, or where do you see yourself, Dr. Salomon?
I don't know. People think I think in the wrong way, but I believe in destiny. So if it's meant for me to become an artist, something will happen along the line that will guide me in that direction. If I'm supposed to be meant to be a writer, a spiritual person, it will take me in that path. And if I'm supposed to help people in plastic surgery and do plastic surgery, I would still be in that path. So I let it to the universe to take me where I'm supposed to go. But either one of those paths, I'll be a happy man.
Well, Dr. Salomon, I want to thank you for opening up and really telling us a little about how you built such a successful business, because everyone has seen what you've built, but I also think what you've done through the commitments, the gambles, and the investments is what's so remarkable to see where you've gotten. So you've been a great partner of ours for many years, and you're one of the most successful doctors in the world. So it's always an honor to have you as a partner, but it's also an honor to feature your story. And I hope this could be something that someone can see and that could be very passionate about, similar to you.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you for the interview. You have an amazing brand. You've created something. You and Kamal have created something amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, enjoy the rest of your Saturday and your day off. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you. Thank you. You as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.